Welcome to the world of Q&Asa. Fine. No, it's gone. I see lots of people already here. Tom's here, Bry's here, Tony, Isla, Replicant. Peter Morland is definitely not here, but shout out to Peter Morland as well, because I'm sure I'll watch it afterwards. Butch, Luffy, how's everybody doing today? This is like Thursday Q&Asa, where we talk about all of the games and whatever we want to talk about. Past, present, future of gaming, they all converge. There's usually a few little topics lined up around the week's news, but we also get sidetracked quite a bit. This week, there's not a sponsor for the show, so we'll get straight into it. You never remember the backgrounds that I've already had. Yeah, this is a repeat background. I like this one because the bit in front of me is secretly a video as well. And it's not entirely timed right with all the lightning and things like that, but it's still quite neat that it has a little bit of extra flair to it. Peter is coming to God's own land. Where's Peter going? He only said that he wasn't here. I didn't pay attention. Forza Motorsport Ultra Ray Tracing 0 out of 10 game. We'll get to Forza Motorsport in a bit, Tony. That's just fine. In fact, let's run through it. Let's run through how the show works. It's conversational. You'll say things in there if you want to. If you don't want to, if you just want to sit and listen, that's fine too. But if you want to get involved in conversation, just say whatever you want in there. To me, to each other. We go back and forth, and that's how the show runs. If that's not sufficient and you really need new and different ways to... Can it be sponsored by Isla? We can negotiate. But not right now. No, not very easily. If you must be heard, you've got additional options for how to talk. There's Discord. You can jump into the Game On Daily Discord server, which is currently up and running and exists. You can get there and go on to on the left there's a little category called Q&Asa. There's Waiting Room B, Waiting Room 2, or Waiting Room Knuckles. You can stick yourself in the waiting room, and once I notice you, I drag you in for a little conversation, have a couple of minutes to say your piece. So that's a good option if you have something in particular that you want to tell everybody about, share with the world. Option 3 is the Q&A box. So the YouTube Q&A will appear at some point during the show, probably quite soon. And you can use it to stick questions or peanut butter, whatever you want can go in there really. Whatever you stick in the Q&A box gets read at the end of the show. We go through them one at a time. What is going on in the background? Quite a lot is going on in the background. There's lightning, there's ice shards, there's like other stuff. Some snow, some wind, loads of stuff going on. Just like in Yorkshire, exactly, Baz, exactly like in Yorkshire. The background is not Yorkshire, but it's nearest kind of comparable zone. This is an old background. They're all old backgrounds. I haven't given you a fresh background for like maybe a month, maybe 2 months. I'll throw in the odd one every now and again, but can't promise when. Option 7 for how you can get involved and talk on the show is, of course, the legendary super chat. Minimum value. We'll go for a nice round $6,000. So $6,000 is the minimum super chat price. No discounts today. Full on round number 6,000. If you want to have a super chat read out loud, $6,000 or your own local currency, but try and make it a round number. And that's it. That's the main methods that you can use for communication. How's everybody doing today? I just linked the Discord channel in there. Thank you very much. Peter, you have betrayed me. Not betrayed me, but I thought you weren't going to be here. I gave you a little shout out. You were supposed to watch it the next like a few days time and go, oh, that's nice, I was remembered. But no, you come on to say a quick hello. I appreciate it. Thank you, Peter. Enjoy your time in Yorkshire. What's a Muppet? What is a Muppet? This was, I thought, quite a slick counter, Baz. So I checked in on Wandering Dutch and Boxenberger today. And it wasn't Baz, though. It was Dave Mack. Dave Mack called me a Muppet. So I feigned ignorance and asked him what a Muppet was. He never did answer. But yeah. Peter's only here for 1 minute because how long it takes to boil the kettle over there in Yorkshire. Isla, you did the thing. What kind of thing? Oh, you put the Q&A thing up. That's cool. That's fine. What else have we got going on? I don't know. Let's talk about some games. What has everyone been playing? I know what some of the answers are going to be. Replicant, you do like a Yorkshire tea. Muppet is a silly person. Thank you, TJ. I kind of know what a Muppet is. Have been known to call people Muppets from time to time myself. Just wanted to throw Dave Mack off a little bit. Yeah, exactly, Baz. That's where it was. Muppets like coming from. Yes, that is where the word is derived from, the Muppets. Yes. What did Yorkshire ever do to you apart from being the best? I've not said anything negative about Yorkshire. I said it's kind of like, I like this background. When I said that this is close to Yorkshire, it was a compliment. It's a nice background. Does the show predate the insult? I'm pretty sure the show predates the insult. Yeah, they wouldn't have based the whole kids' TV show on an insult, surely. That would be weird. If like the show Muppets, when it came out in the 50s or whenever it was actually kind of broadly equivalent to a show coming out now called Dickheads or something like that. No, I'm pretty sure the show came first. TJI, you bought the Oculus Quest 3, you haven't played any games yet on it, you're thinking Red Matter. Unfortunately, a lot of games that you considered are PC VR. Well, I'm assuming you haven't got a PC available to play those games, which is why that becomes unfortunate. But you can still play. I'm not sure of the timing of the updates. Things like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners I know have got decent updates for the Quest 3, but I don't know if they're already there and ready to play. But Red Matter, I've heard a lot of people say that Population 1 is very nice now if you like a bit of multiplayer. Samba de Amigo, I'm going to buy that just to send a little message. Samba de Amigo VR, I'm going to buy that so that Sega know they need to keep making virtual reality games. They need to be the next Capcom and keep on doing things. You got it wrong about Minecraft Live, it's on Sunday. Good. It's a nice background, probably not the nicest place to walk around or raise a family. Yeah, but nobody said that about Yorkshire either, did they? If we're being honest, so it's still nice. We'll get onto the Quest 3 in a little bit. Let's focus on games first. So who's played Forza Motorsport so far? Samba de Amigo would be the first thing that you would play if you could buy a Quest. I mean, Beat Saber's surprisingly fun in VR, so I'm sure Samba de Amigo works well. Why is there coffee on the bottom of my cup? Oh well, as long as it's not the Baileys, that's the important bit. Replicant, you played it. You played Forza Motorsport. What are we thinking of it? I know lots of people played it. I know Tony's been playing it. He was whining about the ray tracing just a minute ago. I have said many times that I don't massively care for it because I like to do my racing in VR and Forza Motorsport won't let me, but parking that aside, it isn't for you. Is that just because you don't like sim racers though? If you were to have a stab at whether it is a good racer or not, rather than whether it's for you or not, what would you feel on that one? Because I played it. Normally when I play racing games, I play in a virtual reality headset and I play with a steering wheel. And my steering wheel is, technically it's an Xbox steering wheel, so it would work with Forza, but I'm not going to move it over to where the TV is. So I played Forza Motorsport with a controller. Like an Xbox controller. TJI, you heard that developers prefer Oculus games because that's where the market is mainly, but also Oculus has better control on its store, whereas on PC you can get a lot of games cheap, very cheap. It's definitely the case at the moment that PC VR is slow to a crawl. You get very few games come out that are specifically made for PC VR, but if you are looking to get into a back catalogue of VR games, there are some phenomenal ones on PC. So if you ever manage to get it connected up to a PC, then you've got all your Half-Life Alyx and Asgard's Wrath and all of those kind of things. Replicant, you preferred GT7. What about it? Forza seems to be nothing but menus, but Gran Turismo was a lot of menus as well, right? It had its world map and cafeteria. It's quite funny that you say that, actually, because so I've played very, very little Forza Motorsport, and this is very far from a review. Tony likes it, says it's a good time. He likes the learning curve. It's really easy. Then you can go into crazy difficulty if you want to. So I set it to, I don't know, not a very difficult set of AI opponents, but all of the penalties and things like that I set to their harshest modes and all of the handling and all the rest of it. I was surprised at how dry it is. Simulation games are always dry. like to a degree, because they're trying to be real life racing rather than like the celebration that Forza Horizon would be. But I look back at the last Forza Motorsport games I played, which I played a tiny bit of 7 and I played a bit of 5. Those games still had some flair and celebration to them. They still, like, you start 7 and it sticks you in this Dubai race course that's, I don't know, it felt nice. And then you go onto Forza Motorsport now, and they've stripped out all of the music and all of the life and left it quite dry. And that's not the end of the world, because the important thing for Forza is obviously the handling model and all the rest of it, which it seems to have done well on, probably. Can't you race in the rain? I didn't get that far, Tom. You probably can. But it's weird because one of the biggest criticisms that I had for Gran Turismo 7 when it came out was I always called it sterile and pretentious. I don't think Forza Motorsport is pretentious in the same way, but it is just as sterile, and that surprised me because Forza didn't used to be. So yeah. Saying all of this though, like menus will be fine. I'd be all over that game if it was available in VR for me, because it does so much else right. Like the handling, it's not nice on a controller, but broadly speaking, you can tell they've got it about right now. It's got a good rule set. All of this stuff, some people won't like it. It'll put some people off massively, but things like the penalty system, where if you're going off track and colliding and you get your seconds added on and all that kind of stuff, the realistic damage and tire wear and all of this kind of stuff. If I could play that in virtual reality, I'd blast my own music and I'd play it for so long and have such a good time. So I can understand on the Forza Motorsport issue that some people are going to love that game. It's going to scratch exactly the itch that they've got for a racing game. And other people are going to despise it. You hope it's not as dry. It's not as dry as Animal Crossing. Isla, do you get weapons? Do you get weather in Animal Crossing? And also, do you get weapons? Because that would be cool. TJI, was Jim Ryan good for PlayStation? Yay or nay? Good question. It rains and it snows, but can you get weapons? So I'm gonna deviate from the games to try and have a little think about that question. So Jim Ryan, if you look at the entirety of his career at PlayStation, you'd have to say, like, from their side of things, from the horrible business side of things, he was exceptionally good, because he sorted their shit out and made them dominant in Europe. And that's as far as I know, and obviously I'm outside it and haven't been around any of it, but as far as I know, that's almost entirely attributed to him, that PlayStation owns Europe. So in that sense, yes, he was good for PlayStation. But what you're asking is presumably his recent spell in charge of PlayStation, right? The last, I don't know, how long was he there? 3 years, 4, 5? The period of time when he was head of PlayStation. Was he good for them in that period of time? Was he good when they increased the price of their games, when they moved to gas, when some people complain about the PC thing, that's less of a problem for me. That's harder to answer, because a lot of Jim Ryan's legacy hasn't been seen yet. Like, the impact of his decisions would be felt over the next 2 or 3 years. Nobody's pleased that they raised the prices. Nobody's pleased that they don't have a good back compat program. No one's pleased that they don't like do the play anyway thing to the same degree as Microsoft do. There's lots of things that people are unhappy about. I forgive it all because he supports virtual reality on PlayStation. So, you know, that's the most important thing that any CEO can do. That's why. Little blip there. I guess, I don't know, what do you think though, TJI? Was he good for PlayStation? Yes or no? You do also have to look at that from both perspectives. Like, was he good for PlayStation from Sony's perspective? Like, good for the strength of the business? And was he good for them in terms of us at the end of it trying to play games? Those are two different questions. Bugnet is funnier, but you can hit people with an axe. Do they die? That doesn't sound like Animal Crossing. TGI, that's why you think the decision to remove him was strange, because his legacy as head didn't really kick off yet. You're guessing maybe they liked his idea but didn't like the implementation. I'm not convinced they did remove him. I know that's like a theory people like to embrace, and it's fun and all the rest of it. But I think he probably has just had enough. It could be that he's like, or yeah, I think it's Jim Ryan's decision to leave. I don't think he's been pushed. And whether it's because of like stress from travel or all the rest of it, or whether it's because he doesn't know how to navigate what's coming in these years of competition. Either way, I think it was his decision. Episode 13, how's it going? Is your child home with you? Is everything well and peaceful now? Isla, Discord link is in the description. Yes, it is. Thank you. Oh yeah, I forgot about descriptions. No, I did write one, didn't I? All home now. Or easy mode now, right? Just coasting through parenting. I understand. What other games have come out? Has anyone had a chance to play Lords of the Fallen yet? Lords or Lord? I can't even remember the title. Kratos, how goes it? YMIZ? I don't know. I just write things sometimes. Settling in this knackering. Oh yes. Tony, I saw your picture. You've got your Odyssey headset before it gets wrecked by Sony. Does it sound like markedly better than what you had before? Are you sticking it on your ears and going, wow, this was a good investment? Relax. I don't want to relax. You thought he left because he was sick of all the fucked memes about him. I don't actually know if he even looked at social media to see those. I didn't even know there was an Assetto Corsa Mirage. But I'm glad you've been playing it. It's a replicant. I don't actually remember who doesn't like Assassin's Creed. How are you finding Mirage? Background is chaotic. Are you talking about my background, or are you talking about home life with a baby? Either way, I agree. There's chaos abound. I write good stuff. Seems no, they're quite throwaway, thoughtless. The descriptions. My background is the chaotic one. TJI, here's a statement you made that a few of your Xbox friends pushed back on Discord. You said that if Phil Spencer was the head of PlayStation, he would have lost his job. Xbox has had too... So you mean if Phil Spencer was head of PlayStation and making the kind of decisions that he's made at Microsoft, then he wouldn't have been given as much leeway to carry out his plan? I understand. He's got a difficult job at Microsoft because their requirements are, I think, steep, but they're requirements that he committed to delivering. If he was at Sony, the requirements would be different. I think. I don't know. I think maybe he would. It's obviously a hypothetical that we're never going to know the answer to. But if he went to Sony and he was tasked with, what do you reckon Sony's higher ups actually wanted? And where does the direction come from? Because at Microsoft, we know that they have to expand. They're always talking about 2 billion gamers. They're always talking about cloud and mobile and all these different avenues that they have to expand. Whereas at Sony and PlayStation, they had much more emphasis in Jim's time. They had much more emphasis on squeezing more money out of the people that already liked PlayStation. And expansion seemed still important, but not as singular in focus as Microsoft wanted it to be. I don't know. I think if Phil was at PlayStation and he had that different directive, man knows games, so I'm not sure that he would have struggled in that role. But who knows? Like, this is all stuff that we don't really get to see the inner workings of. Tony, you have the Sony XM3 and XM5. You tried out many different gaming headsets over the years, and these are by far the best. The only thing that Sony beats Odyssey on is the audio cancellation. Audio cancellation, so the leakage out of the headset or the background noise into the headset. Are you complaining because T-Rex can still get your attention? Or are you complaining because T-Rex can hear the naughty stuff you're watching? Could go both ways. Noise cancellation goes both ways. So. TGI, there's so many mistakes on Xbox side. Sony are a lot stricter. Yeah, but the mistakes on the Xbox side are mistakes that they're missteps towards a very specific goal, I think. Like, the stuff that tripped up Don Matrix was Microsoft's overall directive to move everything over to subscription and all the rest of it. So I don't know, I feel like Sony wouldn't have had that same directive, or that same imperative, that's the word. So you could have focused more on just releasing games. I don't know. Don't think everything is necessarily an easy time at Sony, in terms of, like, they obviously do have an imperative to squeeze more money out of everyone and everything. Good question, TJI. And obviously a question for anyone to think about and speculate on. Tom, you'd hate to know what higher-ups at corporations really want. Yes, it's not going to be us to have a nice time, is it? There's no one sitting on that board going, make sure that the next game is, like, really fun. There was a man who had a plane and definitely didn't kill himself. What? Was a man who had a plane. Oh, yeah. Okay, I understand. I'm assuming, Isla, that Tom avoided the name because you can't type that name into a Google chat without the Hawks deleting your channel. So good job on the misspelling if you did. I don't know either. I also don't know much of the story around that. So, let's do games still, because so far we've only had Forza and Lords of the Fallen that no one's played yet. What else has everyone been playing? Does Halo Infinite fly on PlayStation? Does Redfall come out? Is Game Pass allowed to stall as much? Are console sales allowed to stall? Is Baldur's Gate 3 controversy seen as a silly mistake? Well, on the one hand, I think PlayStation would probably love to have Halo Infinite. And despite aggression and hostility around it and the problems that they had, teething problems, shall we say, if you look at Halo Infinite today, I think Sony would love to have it. But does Redfall come out? That's a fair question, because Sony are definitely more heavy-handed in the way they manage studios and the quality that they expect from those studios, but there's pros and cons to that. So pros and cons to that. I don't know. I think if Phil could convince the Sony board that his method to grow gaming was actually long-term the correct play, the lucrative path, then he'd be fine. But difficult one. Also, if he was at PlayStation, then the Series S might not have been such a struggle, because it would have the PlayStation name on it, which goes a long way for selling things. But Painful Discourse, welcome, by the way. You finished Armored Core 6 first playthrough. Does that mean that you're doing another playthrough? Are you intending second, third, fourth, fifth? I want to play Armored Core 6. Tony, did you finish Armored Core 6? You were the most enthusiastic Armored Core person around. It's got 3 different endings. It's on my list to get to. Lots of games are on my list to get to. So many games are on my list to get to. Series S new bundle looks like a great value. I haven't. What new bundle? What does it come with? Tony, you didn't finish it. Isla's found her phone. Good. I was not going to be able to help very much. I wasn't going to be able to help very much with that either. Tom, it's just a joke about very rich people. Should Bobby go together? Yeah. Yeah. I understand. A Series S starter pack. What does that mean it comes with? Series S was already a starter pack. I've seen a bunch of stories doing the rounds this week about Series S being like a development challenge all over again. It's causing problems, and I had a look. Before even having a look, I was like, it's going to be that Thomas Puha guy again, isn't it? It's going to be exactly the same person that it always is every time this story makes any noise. Sure enough, exactly the same guy. Communications guy from Remedy. Weird chap. Hurry up and mention the PlayStation Slim price. You want to hear my take on it? Okay, we can go on to topics. Why not? You need to drugs. What am I waiting for? Thomas Pooh. It's P-U-H-A, so I don't know how you actually say his name, but every single time there's a Series S problem, if you scratch at the surface to find out like which developers are actually talking, it's always that guy. Every single time. The only like slight exception is obviously the Baldur's Gate 3 stuff, where the devs were actually saying very nice, polite things, but clearly having trouble. $30 stand for the PlayStation Slim is hilarious. Yeah, so right, let's get there after I've read Tony's thing. The only trash thing is trapped air can create high pressure, and sudden pressure changes could damage the diaphragm by overstressing them, which is not covered by warranty. Not many warranties will cover your eardrums, no. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Diaphragms of the headset. Okay, I thought you meant you're going to get air trapped and it's going to explode your ear. And then you're going to go to wherever you bought it from and be like, can I get a new eardrum? And they're going to say, that's not covered under warranty. No, I get what you're saying. You're talking about breaking the headset. Tony, that's also not under warranty. If I do accidentally, inadvertently cause your death, please don't try to claim anything. Painful Discord, Armored Core 6, New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus have different decisions you can make and some new missions and stuff. But you had to, so there were 3 different endings available for the first game, and now there's some new stuff as well on top of that. You're just going to haunt us if you die. That's fine, I look forward to a little haunting. There's a PlayStation Slim. Nobody mentioned anything about that this week. Yeah, there is, isn't there? Right. Let's do it. So keep throwing stuff around about games and that, because I like games. PlayStation Slim. PlayStation 5 Slim. They announced this week with spelling error and pricing error and picture error. Everything about it was an error. Let's find the... I'm going to assume it's on the PlayStation blog, isn't it? That'll be the place to look. That'll be the most wholesome place to find it. PlayStation blog. Wait for it. Marvel Spider-Man 2, a new version of Lizard. No, we're not looking there. So, let's see. Let's accept all of the cookies. What I can't see immediately from looking at this, it's a new look for the PlayStation 5 console this holiday season. I can't see any reference to the word slim, so I'm not sure they are terming it a slim, which is like not of much consequence. But I think previous, like the PlayStation 2, they specifically called it slim. This one, they're not going to get away with it, so I assume it's still quite big, right? Vertical stand sold separately. They did correct it. They corrected the vertical stand sold separately spelling, but they didn't correct the part where they display both consoles vertically, despite the fact that that's not how anyone's going to have those consoles, because nobody's paying 30 quid for a stand, right? $80 for a Blu-ray is not bad now. Best Buy is not selling any more physical media. So that's the pricing, isn't it? So a lot of people are calling it a price increase. It kind of is and it kind of isn't. So it depends on where you are in the world. This is for the disc version. I think in most of the world, the price is just not changing, which is a disappointment in itself, because previous generations revised models that had cheaper to manufacture internals would mean a significant price drop, but that's not the case anymore. We're getting the same price. And if you get the digital model, then the price is actually increasing by a fair chunk, right? In America, it's seen as a price increase for both, because America managed to skip the price increase a few months ago when the rest of the world got it. So in America, the new edition is just plain more expensive. For everyone though, it's like, best case it's the same price, worst case it's more expensive. And the digital edition is no longer quite as cheap. So how's everyone feeling? First of all, I'm assuming nobody's particularly looking to buy these, are they? I don't think... Is it fair to say we're not really the audience? Like, if you want a PlayStation 5, you've probably already got one. And if you didn't want one, nothing about this is going to change your mind, really, is it? Or am I wrong? The New disk drive has a very Chad-like jawline. So Tom wants one. Paper disc was going to cost more in Poland, so you had the first price increase and the second one. Is it still as stupidly tall? It's a little bit smaller. It says here reduced in volume by more than 30%, so it won't be reduced in height by 30%, but it is a bit shorter at least, you would imagine. Weight by 18 and 24 compared to the previous models. So it's a little bit smaller, but still fugly. Still an ugly console. PlayStation 5 is an ugly console. And I'll take no dissenting opinions. No, you're welcome to like it if you want, but it's like it's a bedroom console, not a living room console. You don't want to see that in like the grown-up rooms in your house. It can go in a bedroom. That's the way I see all white consoles anyway. Elden Ring DLC will win Game of the Year. There's no Elden Ring DLC this year. What are we talking about? PlayStation 5, in your opinion, is one of the worst form factors you've ever seen in a console. Yeah, it's not pretty. But at the same time, that's not massively important to me. You live in your bedroom, exactly. So the PlayStation 5 would look splendid if you could find a space for it in your bedroom. It's huge and badly designed size-wise. Yeah, it is huge. Now it's slightly less huge, but still ugly. The digital console being more expensive is a weird one, because obviously people are like annoyed to see a price go up. When the PlayStation came out, though, in the UK at least, I'm assuming in America it was $100. So 100 money's cheaper between digital and the disc version. So the digital version was obviously, like, to some extent subsidized more so than the disc one, because there was never $100 or £100 cost difference between those two models. So much as I think the situation is shit and these consoles should be cheaper and that would be better for all of us, I don't think Sony putting the digital one up specifically is necessarily through malice. I think they had less leeway with that console. Is that fair? I don't know. They're sold at profit, aren't they? They're being dicks. Maybe the digital one can't be sold at a profit unless they have that little increase. Messy. So I'm not. Don't take this as me defending. So the digital one's staying the same here. Is it 380? Is that how much I paid for my Is that how much I paid for my PlayStation 5? I've got the digital one. I don't massively care for discs, so I've got the launch edition digital console. How much, Replicant? I don't keep up very much. How much is the disc version here? Like, what's the difference between them? Sony aren't changing the pricing model until the Pro drops. Okay, so it's still 100 difference here. So it's just in the US where the difference is like reduced. Oh, I don't bloody know. I have no strong opinions on the PlayStation Slim or the PlayStation Slim pricing or naming. It's ridiculous that the vertical stand isn't included, especially when they mark it as standing vertically. And yes, I do. I've said many times, I fully expect the PlayStation 5 Pro to release next year with the exact specification that was leaked by Tom Henderson. So we'll see what happens with prices at that point. But I think you could be right, Replicant. We could see a shift at that point in time. Luap, good evening. How are you doing? You think when the Pro arrives, the standard will drop, but you could be wrong and the Pro is 580. Yeah. I think on a silicon level, the Pro is going to be like cost to manufacture, not that much different to a Series X. But you could, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Sony normally aim for a very particular price point, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Pro comes in at a bit lower than 580, but not by a lot. PlayStation 5 was supposed to sell at 600. According to who, Tony? That's not true at all. PlayStation 5 was supposed to sell at £450. That's been like... I can't remember the dollar equivalent, but Sony's price has been the same since the launch of the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 Pro hit the same price, and the PlayStation 5 was supposed to, but failed. I sincerely think that Sony set the price before they set the hardware. So I don't ever think the PlayStation 5 was supposed to sell at 600. Being shouted at in Polish. Interesting. The other thing with the Slim though is obviously if Sony are releasing this thing and they're not bringing the price down, that surely means that the demand must still be there, right? And sadly, if a business can sell something for a certain price, they're going to, aren't they? So what do you reckon is the case? Is this is the price being kept as it is because hardware actually hasn't come down as much as it used to because like world affairs, or is the price being kept as it is because Sony know they can charge whatever the hell they want? Speculate away. Uh-oh, we're yelling in Polish. Look, you have to stand down from Forza Motorsport Sunday Challenge. You're not enjoying the game. It's irrelevant. You don't need to join the game. You just have to have it installed and come and try it. I have not enjoyed what I've played of it so far. But multiplayer is like different. So that challenge is still open and ongoing. Everyone should try and have Forza Motorsport installed for this weekend. If I can play it as someone who doesn't like pancake racing games, then you can stomach it for a few races. Tony, last time you played, you were focusing on trying to buy all of the different items. This is Armored Core again, I think. She's Polish, best woman in the world. That's nice. Is she, like, sitting beside you right now? Is she armed? Xbox Series X price was leaked first, so PlayStation 5 was not going to sell high. That's not it, Tony. Like, I'm not saying that they don't respond to each other at all. But Sony build up to a price rather than build and then price. It's going to be there Sunday evening. Yeah. It is painful. Like, Forza with a controller on a TV. It felt pretty slow and cumbersome to me. But can you play race car? Yeah, it's like you have to stream it, I would think. But it is, I assume it's streamable already. I don't think you will like race car, but yes. We're going to play for those that... In fact, no, it's a surprise. I'll leave the rule set. I will leave the rule set. Tom, you've been home from London a few hours. Probably not slept on Sunday. Ah. No, you have to race. It's compulsory. Why do I think you won't? Because I think personally that the game kind of sucks and doesn't feel much fun to play. I assume that you won't, just based on me not particularly liking it so far. And obviously that might not be applicable at all. You can let me know after you've tried it. Tony, you need Disney to make Speed Racer game, but as a successor of Split Second. So you don't like the Disney Speed Racer that's out at the moment? Disney Speed Racer turned free to play this month. And Alex SS was quite keen on the idea of playing it, so I got that downloaded as well. I'm not expecting to take much from that one, but it's an option to play. Split Second, we would play Split Second instead if it had multiplayer still functioning, but from what I understand, the game is back compat. You can play it on your... you can play the 360 version, but I don't think you can race it online anymore. Sad times. So I've never played that. I would have been happy to give it a go if I could. And I am... Party Animals an option, or do I want all HDR games this week? We'll see. Split Second was good if you're thinking of the right game. You must be Replicant because everybody always says that that game was really good. Do I think Nintendo's push for a higher performing console is due to their worry that they realize they need third-party support and a worry about ROG and Steam Deck taking their market share? No, I don't think Nintendo are worried about any of those. I don't think they're even pushing that hard for a higher performing console. It's just a natural evolution of technology means that they're going to have a higher performing console. They're going to carry on doing their own thing. I think It was Bobby Kotick said that they, from what they know of the Switch 2 after conversations with Nintendo, its like power profile was somewhere broadly akin to the Xbox One on PlayStation 4, possibly with some NVIDIA magic to scale it up to a higher resolution, but I don't think they're pushing for power. We shall see though. For me, that's what I want from Nintendo. I want something that makes their current games just look a bit more respectable on a big TV, and then I'll be happy. Because I am a Nintendo fanboy deep down. This is established fact these days. You got Warhammer installed, you really would race or play, but you're down south for a long ass night out on Saturday. Yeah, but you'll still be alright, Tom. You'll recover. I believe in you. Warhammer is great. Is it? I don't know. We played it and it was fun. I don't know how long it will stay fun. It was entertaining, just like hitting stuff with a shovel. But I didn't really take in what was happening. Besides, hit stuff with shovel. Right. Right. What else have we got? I liked it. Yeah, Baz, I did. It was fine. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying long term, I don't know. I didn't absorb what was happening, so I don't know if it's actually a good game or not. It was just fine. It was something to do. Really want a sleep deprived, probably drunken you on stream? Absolutely, Tom. You can come on Discord right now. Get some drink in you. We'll have you there. We'll have Tony there, and I'll have my finger on the mute button just in case. Painful discourse, Tony, battle logs and more OS chips. Wait, this is Armored Core stuff. I want Armored Core, and Remnant 2 I want to play as well. I am still slowly progressing through my Immortals of Avium review, which I have some questions that I need to ask you about that shortly. First, let's smash on to the next topic. So PlayStation stuff, we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, slim models and none of us are looking to get them, so it doesn't matter very much. Slight related topic. So hypothetically, the PlayStation 5 Pro is real. It's not hypothetical. The PlayStation 5 Pro is real, almost certainly. It's gonna come out next year. Who's looking at buying that? That's a question in itself. As a more interesting proposition. I'm sure I've asked it before, but just a quick on the fly. Anyone like keeping their eye on this PlayStation 5 Pro release? You getting S ranking stuff? Nah, no rankings for me. Nobody's getting PlayStation 5 Pro. Don't blame you. I probably do want one of those. Situation allowing. That would be a nice thing to have. So, other hardware that's come out. Has it made a big splash? Has it not? Let's find out. Who has played around or knows someone that's got a Meta Quest 3, or who is looking to get one for themselves, or has seen reviews, has been doing a little bit of research, has been keeping your finger on the pulse, and knows a little something about the Quest 3. I don't have one. People ask me because it's a virtual reality headset, so I'm supposed to have one and know everything about it. But I do have a Meta Quest Pro. And there are actually a couple of little features in the Quest 3 that make me want it. But I can't justify it right now when I've got a Quest Pro that's also really good. If I didn't have a Quest Pro, my goodness, I would buy a Quest 3. It looks like such a good headset. Oh no, none of you have got a Quest 3 or been keeping an eye on it. From what I can tell, like early feedback, consumer reception and all the rest of it seems to be massively positive. Still thinking about it. People are learning the joys of pancake lenses and just how much of a step up that is from the Quest 2. Chronic UK, I know that you've got it. Have you managed to do anything with it yet? Have you managed to... I know you're having some trouble with Half-Life Alyx, but have you managed to play any of the Quest native stuff? And I don't know your headset history, so I don't know if you have any take on like how much of an improvement it is over previous headsets that you've tried. Colin Prime, you're saving for the 512GB model. What are you hoping to play on it? Baz Crypt Quest 2, if that counts. Yeah, Quest 2 counts as a headset. Like, it does a lot of good stuff. But I think Quest 3 is a big step up. Is the resolution better than the Quest 2? The resolution is better, but more significantly, the lenses are better. It's a much better headset than the Quest 2. Quest 2 was a singular screen with lenses. The Quest 3 it's 2 individual screens, so it's a much wider field of view. Not much wider, but it's noticeably wider field of view. And it's got pancake lenses, so it's crisp and clear wherever you look. Which wasn't the case with the Quest 2. Tony, I absolutely didn't say that. For me, I wouldn't get the 512GB one. Actually, no. Ideally, like, more space is always better, but my main use for these headsets is for PC VR. Exception though, and oh, Chronic, I should have said to you. I should have said to you when you were asking about games. Get SideQuest. It's going to take a little bit of research, but get SideQuest. Look up Team Beef's games and play Quake 1, 2, and 3, Doom 3, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Jedi Academy, Duke Nukem 3D. All of this kind of stuff on the Quest 3. My goodness, it'll be so good. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. That's almost a recommendation that I'd make, like, above a lot of the native Quest stuff. They run natively, like, they run as native stuff, but they're full-on older games that Team Beef convert, and they are so good. They're so good. Quest 2 could look blurry on the peripheral vision. This is a whole different thing. Baz, too many loans and credit cards to pay next year because your mortgage has gone up and it's a piss take. Yeah, mortgage. I'm fortunate because right before all of that clusterfuck hit, I secured like 5 years fixed mortgage rates. So I'm fortunate in that regard. Unfortunate in that I don't actually like earn enough to buy anything cool anymore. But here's what it is. Doom 3 in VR is so good. It's one of the first ones that they did. Bethesda obviously did it. It was their last official VR game as well. They released Doom 3 on the PlayStation VR post-acquisition because they'd already been working on it. It was the last one that they were allowed to put out was Doom 3 VR on the PSVR. But there's unofficial mods on the PC side of it and the full game natively on Quest as well. I do kind of want it. I really want it. I really want everything. Oh well. That's life. Just out of curiosity this evening, what other topics do I have planned? So, the ones that were in the subject were PlayStation 5 Slim, Quest 3, EA sniffing around, no, Disney sniffing around EA, my review schema as a thing I need some help with, and possibly like a real light touch on the ABK stuff, but possibly not. Space Denizen, you love VR as much as I do. Are you on the Quest 3 yet? And as someone who is very familiar with what's around in the VR space, if you had someone who was brand new to Quest 3, what would you tell them to go and try? What would be your recommendations for them? What time am I planning on playing Forza Motorsport this Sunday evening? So UK time, 9 o'clock. I can't remember where you are, Luep, so I don't know how that translates across. Space Denizen, remind me what headset you had before the Quest 3. £70 more a month for 5 years beats paying $470 a month or more depending on the market. Yes. Yeah, mortgages are a cluster. That's 3 a.m. for Tony. No, it's not, Tony. You had the Quest 2. See, this is what I was saying. Like, it's a big upgrade, right? I haven't made that upgrade myself. I've not had a Quest 3 on my face. But the move from Quest 2 lenses to Quest 3 pancake lenses is massive, right? Yeah, so you had a Quest 1, PlayStation VR 1 and 2. Now you're on a Quest 3. Quest 3 has those 120 Hz screens, which isn't something I'd immediately notice, but it would make my streaming life easier. What with 120 being nicely divisible into 60. And it has AV1 encoding for PC VR. So I could get a slightly better image possibly. Besides that though, what I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing many people at all run comparisons between Quest Pro and Quest 3 to really tell me like if I am missing anything or not. Because the Quest Pro has like foveated rendering and eye tracking and stuff like that the Quest 3 doesn't have. Quest 3 has a more powerful chip inside it, but the other stuff that the Quest Pro does might overcompensate for that. Nobody's really running that comparison, so you love the lenses and the form factor. My prediction for the Quest 3 in the run up to its launch was just that the lenses will hit and people will love it. I don't think it's going to sell massively well compared to the Quest 2, just by virtue of being more expensive, but quality wise I think it will land very well, and that is seemingly how it's playing out. Why would the Pro be better for PC than the 3? That's curious. And Chronic, you tried the free ISS exploration app game. It may not have been a good thing to start on as you started feeling quite disoriented. Tried that game where the furballs break through your walls and run around. So mixed reality, that's something that Quest 3 is supposed to do better than Quest Pro, is mixed reality, but I don't massively care for it. I think mixed reality at the moment, it's got a massive future, but at the moment that's like a gimmick that will wear thin very quickly. I saw this really cool concept where someone was like looking in their own house and they were effectively sitting in a mech. So used mixed reality, you could see the mech that they were sitting in and you could see the real world, and stuff could run around in the real world for you to shoot or whatever. And I thought, fuck, that looks awesome. That's such a good idea. And then I thought about it for just like a fraction of a second more and thought, wait, how does movement work? How does movement work if you're sitting in a mech in mixed reality? Do you just walk with your legs and the mech is just stuck to your face? That's a bit shit. But you can't use an analog stick because you're positioned in real life. So no, this mech mixed reality idea is suddenly not nearly as cool as I thought. Gimmick. Space Denizen, you have to have virtual desktop to really benefit from it. No, so the local dimming you get on both. In fact, Airlink is really good. Virtual desktop is also really good. There's slight pros and cons to each of them. The thing that I think virtual desktop does better at the moment since its last update, and this is weird that virtual desktop does it better, I think it has more flexibility in passing on the face tracking. So if you wanted to play VR chat, which I don't, but if you wanted to play VR chat and other things that use its SDK for face tracking, then I think virtual desktop is currently better for that. Furbal's game was surprisingly good. They were hiding everywhere and the controllers were very accurate. Yeah, it's like, I'm sure it's neat for a time. I'm assuming they like burst through the ceiling and stuff like that is the clips that I've seen. The Sword Art Online one being played in like outdoors in parks and things looks a little bit fun as well. Well, quite a lot fun to be fair. But VR is still what I'm more interested in as those headsets go. Social Sunday. You're calling Sundays. That's a good name, Tony. That's a good name. I can run with that. Huge benefit for VR chat. Do you do VR chat, Space Denizen? I'm scared of VR chat. I went on there once upon a time, a long time ago, when it was like pretty fresh, and I don't think it had a desktop client at that point in time, like that long ago. And it was just rooms full of like 13 Ugandan knuckles and some nonsense. And I never looked back. But there probably is some good stuff in there by now, right? Must be some. If you know where to look, then there's probably a good time to be had there, really. Maybe. Oh, that's so the other thing, Space Denizen, it's local dimming on the Quest Pro as opposed to the Quest 3. In fact, so let's not get into super detail on that because I know not everybody cares that much about it. But VR chat is really amazing. You might need a tour guide. I do want more people. That's my other motivation. I want some people to get Quest 3 so that there are more people to play multiplayer games with. I want to play some multiplayer VR games. I want to hijack one of these Sunday ones for the good stuff. Or even some other point in time. Maybe it doesn't even need to be streamed, that one. Streaming multiplayer VR is a little bit complicated with the multiple chat avenues, but whatever. So anyway, what's the next topic? Let's talk about Disney and EA. because I saw a little push and shove there. So Tony, you said that EA getting acquired would be the best thing. Best thing for who? Why do we want EA to be acquired? And I think Replicant questioned why you'd want Disney to be the ones that did it. Let's talk about that. Because EA were known for all of the bad things around gaming for a long time. They were worst company in the world, most greedy company in the world, and they were responsible for quite a few bits of fuckery, right? With the way that they tried to charge for certain things and the studios that they ruined and all of this kind of stuff. But in recent years, they're a wonderful company. You think they're trash overall? What of their recent games is trash, Tony? They've got their sports games, obviously, which I refuse to call sims because they do not simulate playing a sport, but they've got their FIFAs and Maddens and stuff like that, and you can put those to one side and call them trash, and I won't argue with you, right? But what's trash about like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Dead Space, and even like publishing Immortals of Avium? What's trash about them? Or are you more saying that they're trash because of their history as being trash? AJH, it would 100% be terrible for Sony if no one took any notice to what happened to Netflix and the Marvel IPs. It would be terrible for Sony. So if Disney were to buy EA, where would they put the Marvel IPs? They wouldn't strip them from those platforms, like unless Disney were to turn Disney Plus into an actual game streaming service in its own right, which I'm not saying is completely out of the question. You never know, they might want to pursue something like that. But Tony, the history of EA, every time you think of EA, you hear their stupid ass logo, EA is in the game. But they were good in those days, Tony. EA's entire history isn't the era where they ruined BioWare and did what they did to Battlefront and all the rest of it. That was the dark times, and they're mostly out of the other side of that. I'm not saying any publisher is nice and friendly now, but awkward topic. EA are trash, as are Disney. Did nobody else like Dead Space and Jedi Survivor? I have concerns for Dragon Age 4 and the next Mass Effect. I get EA skepticism in general, but I don't see them as a bad company right now. The F1 game was supposed to be really good as well. And WRC, their rally game that's coming at the end of this year, that looks really good. Why would Disney take a lease payment when they can take a 70% cut from sales with no third parties involved? But the Disney don't have that platform at the moment, AJH. They might want to, but I don't know, like building a gaming platform, maybe in the cloud-like future that becomes more appealing. Historically, it's been quite difficult. But Dead Space is quality, and even like, okay, you've got the quality of the game, but you look at the way that these things are monetized and delivered, like funded by a publisher, sold as games, stuck on services at a reasonable time frame, discounted at a reasonable time frame, not monetized through the nose. And yeah, a lot of their games, well, all of their games end up on Game Pass, don't they? So Need for Speed has been trashed for a long time. I'm not sure that's entirely like publishers' fault. At least they're still funding them. The Simpsons, what happened to that game? Titanfall 3, was it cancelled? Titanfall 3, there's lots of rumors and speculation that it's coming now, right? Little things that Respawn are hinting towards. I'm not saying that EA have never done anything wrong. It's just like, I don't know, do you think that Disney will run them better? Do you think we'll still get... I think EA, as they've been running the last couple of years, are definitely on the nicer side of the publishing crime triads. I'm not sure why triads, there's not three of anything, but when you look at Ubisoft and Activision, and those are the big ones, aren't they? Ubisoft, Activision and EA have always been like the three Western ones. But even like take it further and look at Square Enix, I would say that EA are at the good end with Capcom and Bandai Namco, rather than the shit end with Activision and Ubisoft and Square Enix. Oh, Take-Two, they're nasty. Yeah, Take-Two are a nasty company. They're on the shit end. They deliver once a decade with something from Rockstar, but they will bleed any money that they can from anyone, from any orifice. Your only concern is the AA Lion King remake, where you have to buy loot boxes for Simba's claws. Exactly, Luap. So Disney are... I don't know. Disney are Disney. Like, they milk the shit out of things more than necessarily charging horribly. But... As you've been dying all year to play the remake of Dead Space. Been tight waiting for it to drop on Game Pass. It'll be soon, won't it? It'll be soon. We've nearly done the year. Maybe they'll do it just in time for Halloween. That'll be a sensible time for a Dead Space. So Replicant doesn't mind EA. Milk equals drain. Yes. You're sleepy. Yeah, we'll finish up any minute now. Any minute now. So if Disney... I don't know. Like, Disney's current model of licensing out Star Wars and Marvel to anyone and everyone seems kind of good. There's a risk that they go too far. So I feel that Disney have gone like too far in terms of Star Wars and Marvel series that they put on their service, where they really overdo the licenses and just put out really super generic trash. And that's a bit of a shame. Saying that, EA did do some wankery with Battlefield 2042. Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. How much is EA Play? So EA Play, the version that's on consoles, the Get Old Games version, is like 20 quid a year. It's really cheap. I think $30 a year, 20 quid a year. Or maybe £5 a month or something if you do it monthly. But EA Play Premium, the one that gets you the day one games on the PC, that's a lot more. That's like 100 quid a year or something. To be fair, they put out quite a lot of games this year to kind of justify that if you like your racing games and things. But 90 quid for the premium one, is it? It is worth it. They've put out a lot this year, haven't they? I don't think it's been worth it every year that they've done it. But if you hold that side by side with Ubisoft's service, I swear Ubisoft had like 2 years where they didn't release anything. Okay, so generally in terms of Disney and EA, vibe that I'm getting is that we hate all of them. And I don't know. Who would be happy or sad if that acquisition actually went through, if it became real? My voice is going because I've been recording silly video script all day. Not all day. That would be excessive, but... And, like, shouting at passers-by. And ducks. Oh, always shouting at the ducks. You wonder how the FTC would react. Do you think it would be a problem? Do you think Disney acquiring a gaming publisher would be a legitimate competition concern? They might not be a fan of Disney, but they've let them buy everything else that they wanted to, haven't they? Some of their prior mergers would have been like more concerning. I reckon they'd probably get EA through. There's always a lot to pay when you're around, Tony. So expensive, yet so irresistible. Yes. Yes. You don't think it will happen? I'm not sure they've got an appetite for it, more so than... I don't think it would necessarily be blocked. But I don't know. I think if EA had some desire to actually enter their own competitive cloud streaming platform or anything like that, that would obviously change it. They'd need to acquire that technology, that capability, rather than just getting content. But what's 20 quid? And I want to jump over to mine to bust some Dark Tide. Add your... Yeah. Oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah, you lot should always be arranging to play games with each other. Do it, do it, do it. I am Game On Space Asa, and I will not be playing Darkside after this, but you are welcome to add me to play at some point. Unsure how their financials are looking. Wasn't Disney suffering from lower than expected profits? Oh, I'm sure they can free up infinite cash if they need to. They're like White Whale Corporation or whatever they're called. I don't know. They'll manage. Dead Space remake is 20 quid. I see. Yeah, but it's so close though, Baz. It's so close, especially if you're seeing the price at 20 quid. You'll buy it and it'll appear like later this month or something. Or you won't buy it and then you have to wait another couple of months, but it won't be longer than that. It won't be longer than like a year of its release. Anyway. Were there any more topics? Activision Blizzard King, is it going to close tomorrow? Does anybody care? The Activision Blizzard King Bobby Kotick and executive board had a weird meeting of some kind with James Corden, who's going to be taking over the company, or I don't really know what the deal is with that special celebrity interview. And they said that there are no plans to add Diablo 4 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 to Game Pass this year. Is that true? I believe them. Do you believe them? Always the case. Happened with Gotham Knights. Oh, you bought Gotham Knights just before it dropped. That's on all of them now, isn't it? It came out on PlayStation Plus as well, so that's nice to see when they have these games and they don't sign exclusivity arrangements, so they drop everywhere on all of the services. Everyone can play, but nobody should want to because it wasn't a very good game. You're unsure who made up the 13th closure date. I think the 13th closure date came about because a lot of people had predicted that it would be this week, and the 13th is the only day left. I'm not sure anyone was talking about the 13th until we got to the end of the day, like UK time today. End of the 12th, people started saying, oh, it's going to be the 13th. Don't think anyone had said it before that. Could be wrong. But there were a lot of rumours that it was going to be this week, and it needs to close before the 18th, yes, so it could be next week. Chronic, it won't be up to them, though, once the deal's done, but you respect Phil and honour. You suspect Phil will honour any current deals. It won't be up to them, but it will be up to them to do the work. And they will still be like a publisher to a degree, so... I don't think either of those two games will, like Call of Duty, like you say, I think there's contracts in place that will stop that coming to Game Pass, but Diablo 4, probably no contracts. I don't know, Blizzard are super greedy, and Blue Up Check Society, you prefer physical copies of games, it's a potential return on your investment. Yeah, and you get to keep control of it forevermore. Diablo 4 will not come to Game Pass. It will come to Game Pass. I don't think they're lying when they say not this year, but it'll come eventually. The main thing with Diablo 4 for me is in the run-up, like since this acquisition was announced 2 years ago, it was announced at a point where Blizzard had already become this corrupt entity, this like ruined memory from my childhood, because I used to love Blizzard games. I love Warcraft 3 and stuff like that. And they were a company that I adored, but a company that I already felt had like fallen off the rails big time. I don't care about anything Activision do particularly. Blizzard were the one that I was interested in. And I looked at Diablo 4 as the one that I cared about. Like, if Blizzard are still Blizzard, if they're the company that I'm interested in following, all hopes are pinned on Diablo 4 and what they're going to do with it. I had little hope that they would monetize it nicely and all the rest of it, but I'm still so disappointed with Diablo 4. Despite the things that it did well, I finished Act 1. That's as far as I got. And you know my feelings are legitimate on this one because I tried to play it. I tried. It just doesn't have the magic that it used to have. And that seems to have borne out everywhere else because nobody else is still playing Diablo 4. Other people were like enamored with it for a couple of weeks and then fell right off. And now you see them selling Diablo skins in Overwatch for $40. Like, who is this company? Let's hope Microsoft can make them better, eh? That's all I can hope for. Diablo 4 is very good in your opinion. It does something so nicely. I don't know what changes Season 1 made because I didn't get that far. I got to the end of Act 1. It just didn't grab me like the other ones. Like, I like Diablo 3 a lot more than 4. It is pretty though. And the story was like, in places I'm like, oh, this is getting a bit juicy. I like this now. This is a good story. But then it's like, you've advanced 10 levels. Arbitrarily pick up these herbs and go and see the apothecary to get better potions. Fuck off. Why would I do that? How's that a fun mechanic? And I got upset by my sorcerer. I got upset by the abilities that were available to my sorcerer. The sorcerer, and it could be that other classes are more fun. And I fully intended when I started playing the game to play my sorcerer through to completion on the Eternal Realm, and then make a bunch of hardcore characters and just play that game a lot. Like a lot. I was going to play that game a lot. And then I didn't. So now I look at the Activision Blizzard King stuff. The game that I'm most interested in Activision's catalogue that's like not new but still quite relevant to me. I want to play Sekiro. And Sekiro is the only game that I don't actually know if Microsoft will have control of or not. I'd like to play that. Yeah, I might blast through some Call of Duty campaigns one day, but I don't care very much. And the difficulty with Activision Blizzard King stuff is when it does eventually pass, the conversation's been like so worn out, it's expired. What can people still say about it? Yeah, it's passed. We've only been talking about it every week for the last 2 years. And speculated on every possibility going, so yeah. I'll go back to Diablo 4 when they introduce that ray tracing patch though. Sell your PlayStation headset in 5 years. Asa didn't say no to your gamertag name change. Gonna do it. What are you changing your name to, Tony? I missed that. I can't say no to you, so you can tell me again. Chronic UK, they likely won't want Diablo 4 to drop near Baldur's Gate 3 launching either. Maybe. You're so glad that you didn't pay full price for Diablo 4 when people were jerking off over it. Game on Tony. That won't mean anything to anyone, Tony. Have you tried? No, actually. It hurts too much. It's fine. So. I don't have an underscore though, Tony. It's just Game on Space Asa for my Xbox One. Have you played Diablo 4 now, Tom? Have you gone back to it? Look up, your father bought a PlayStation 4 Pro with a VR headset and 2 of the controller things with a couple of VR games brand new for about £1,100, and it's poo. What, recently your father bought that? The first PlayStation VR was horrible. Unfortunately. I massively respect what Sony achieved to be able to get virtual reality out of the PlayStation 4. With its like 1.8 teraflops or whatever it was. But it was a horrible headset that did more harm than good, just made everybody sick. Just game on now if you listen to ACG. Yeah, that's nice. He reads all my comments out. Good old Karak. That's if you are looking for podcasts to listen to and you don't already listen to that one, that is a good one. They're sane over there. Once you get Overwatch famous, you're going to need sponsorship t-shirts. There's no such thing as Overwatch famous, Tony. The only way that you can get Overwatch famous is by buying all of the £40, $40 skins and saying, look, I am the biggest whale. I single-handedly sustain Blizzard. And then you'll probably get like some attention on TikTok or something. Probably worth about £350 now. Trash, yeah. Is it on YouTube now? It's on YouTube now. They're doing 2 a week. I think they do... What's the day now? Yeah, they do Wednesday and Friday. And obviously all of the reviews and stuff there as well, yes. You haven't bought Diablo yet. Will do when it's cheap. Well, there we go, Tom. I'll play it with you. Maybe it will drop on Game Pass before you get it. Maybe it'll have the ray tracing update before you get it. I will play it. I've still got it installed. I was considering cleaning up space yesterday and I looked at Diablo 4 because it's a big game. It's a big install. And I was like, oh, keep it, delete it, keep it, delete it. No, I do want to play it. And you never know, when I do play it, it might properly get its hooks into me and I might completely change my mind about it. I'm mostly judging my opinion on it, on the fact that I stopped playing it. There's some meaning to that. Like, as someone who played an awful lot of 3, for me to not get beyond, like, beyond the end of Act 1, there must be something wrong there. It's trash. How could Sony keep upping the price and still have fanboys praising them? They're not still upping the price of the PlayStation 4 Pro, as far as I know. But I've not seen people praising or defending the price increase particularly. I think it's nice that he reads my comments. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And the little vertical stand thing, I've not seen anyone defend that either. I don't really see too many people defending like their lack of roadmap either. I'm beginning to see more and more of the PlayStation like super fan base beginning to express that actually they'd quite like to know what's coming next year. Which, like, they're definitely only asking because they want ammunition for their console warring rather than because it makes a damn bit of difference to anything else. But still, you mean like Apple? Let's go Apple Vision. What are you talking about, Tony? You're not. Are you actually going to get an Apple Vision? You said that your wife wants one, but it doesn't seem like a good idea. Right, what's next? Were there any more topics, or are we on to questions? I don't think I had anything else lined up. Have I played anything else? No, not really. No, let's go on to the questions. So you can, obviously, comments are still open. Keep sticking stuff in there. Say whatever you want. But also, review talk. Oh, review talk. Thank you. So before we go on to questions, review talk. So I've mentioned briefly my kind of scoring system for reviews. Is my wife in the Apple ecosystem? No. No, she's not. Thank you, Isla, for the reminder. There's not. Are there any Apple devices in my house? There might be an iPhone 4 in a drawer somewhere from like decades ago. The last iPhone that I had was a 4. I don't think anybody else has anything Apple. I don't necessarily hate everything that Apple are doing because they do have some good silicon, but I don't like the company very much. Still, I let any of these companies claim redemption if they do well in the virtual reality space. So there's hope for them. I had an iPhone. So iPhone 4, I can't remember how long ago that was, but it was very, very long ago. Very long ago. Might have been before you were born. Nintendo not being back compatible. Well, let's hope that it is, because I want to play some of the Switch games on better hardware. Why? Why what? Why did I have an iPhone? I cannot remember my thought process, my decision-making skills back in those days. It was a long time ago. You don't hate Apple, just Apple fans. No, I hate both. Hate's a strong word for such things, but you've always found iPhones icky. What's icky about an iPhone, like, to you? Space Denizen, you fell in love with VR and PSVR 1, but as soon as you had PC and Quest 2, you never looked back. Yeah, I'd already had, so before PlayStation VR 1 came about, I already had, I think I had a 3-camera Rift setup back then, or I might have had some Windows mixed reality stuff, but I was already used to hands and stuff that it didn't do, and being able to turn around. Apple, you just don't like the branding. That's fair enough. There are still a few legendary games on PSVR 1. Yes, they arguably supported PSVR 1 more strongly than they have 2. There's no rigs. There's none of that, like a house game with the shooting. I can't remember what it was called. So various things that I'm sure. And Farpoint, that was another one, wasn't it? Need to shoot the ducks. Yes, not sure what that's about, but I agree. Didn't even know you got Apple fans. My goodness, you get Apple fans. Apple fans will put most other brand fans to shame. Like, there are very much Apple fans, yes. You took offense to the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC advert. Yes, you should have taken offense to that. Yeah. Imagine a company wanting people to think that their product was cooler and better. Outrageous. But yes, I know what you mean. Despise is more important than hate. It's still quite strong, but it's probably fair, yeah. Apple fans aren't necessarily posh, but they are definitely smug. I find, I actually, every now and again, when I'm not there, usually on Go Live, they'll have that conversation about which set of fans are the worst. And obviously Gaz says that PlayStation fans are the worst set of fans. And I listen and I'm like, nah, not really at the moment. Like, the worst set of fans is always the set of fans that's most smug. So it swings over time depending on who feels that they've got the most is like, smug is the set of fans that you want to punch in the face. To me, anyway. So, you bought 8 Apple products today. You have a nice crumble on Sunday evening. Yes, Pazza, good stuff. Welcome, welcome. Bri, if you wanted to work at a Philips fluorescent bulb company, what would you do first? That's an interesting question. I'm assuming, Bri, that you live near a Philips fluorescent bulb company and you'd like to go and work there. So you're looking for some advice. Definitely do your research on Philips. And apply. That's the main thing. Did it buffer? I hope not. Have I crashed? No, no buffers. I think it's alright. Do your research on Philips and apply and go from there. There's not much else you can do, Bri, but... Definitely do apply though. Always apply. Never get anything if you don't. You tuned out the peasant talk. Are we still talking about Apple being better? No, Tony, we weren't. We were talking about smug fans. Is Game on Daily down at the moment? Does appear to be. It's so nice that you actually tried to look though. Nobody ever does. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, Painful Discourse. I only noticed when I was due to go live, so I've not had a chance to... check into why. Slight buffer or something. Oh, OBS says everything's fine. So there may be some issues. If there's buffering, if there are problems, don't cry for me. That's why no sponsor. That is why there was no sponsor today. Yes, because I didn't have anything that I could bring up and show because the website doesn't appear to be there right now. Should be critical emergency, but it's for later. It's for another time. Apple's idea of innovation is like Beats, steal ideas and market the shit out of it and put it in a well-made box. Mostly true, AJH. They are, like, they do have some good silicon and they are doing some genuine legwork for their Vision Pro, even though it's not a thing that I personally want. You had a massive power cut. No, it won't be related. Right. My review system, help me out. So, I review games now. That's the thing I'm going to try doing. It's not going very well so far. It's not going very well so far at all. But hopefully, I'm not even going to put a time or date on it. But my first review for Immortals of Avium is coming out. I have fairly well settled on my system for scoring. It's always a conversation around whether review scores are worth having or not. Because typically they're a bad thing and they're mistaken and misused and misconstrued and used for evil. Not evil, but messy. Review scores are messy. Games are big and complicated and it very rarely makes sense to do them side by side. So my little system isn't perfect, but the easy part of it is I take all of the games in an insular way and rate them on 2 points. One of them is like at the moment it's a letter grade. I don't like Ghost of Tsushima at the moment. Hold on, it's singing at me. Ghost of Tsushima, shut up. So it's got a letter grade that references like the scope of the game or the ambition of the game. Like it's kind of a class or an indication of how I am grading that particular game. So in the case of Immortals of Avium, I put it as a B on that scale. because it aims very high end on certain things, but it's definitely not trying to be everything to everyone. It's not like an A-class game in that sense, in the way that Horizon Forbidden West might want to be, but it's not far off. So I stick it at a B for its ambition and scope. And then the second part of it is execution. So you bear in mind what the developers were trying to deliver, and I give them their score out of 100 on how well they executed, how much of that they did achieve, and where they fell short. So you end up with a 2-part score, which is a letter and a number. The number is easy. Like, if I look at games in an insular basis, so that you're not doing them side by side with other games as such, and you're just looking at how well they executed on their vision, then I can handle that. I can give it a number and it makes sense. But the letters is really difficult. And I want to run some like example cases by you and see where you would put it on that kind of scale. Does that make sense, first of all, as like a system of review scoring? It's going to be like a brass size. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. It kind of is. Have I ever played Baldi's Basics in Education and Learning before? No, I haven't. Space Denizen, you see more PlayStation VR fanboys crap all over Quest than anything. Right. So, Immortals of Avium is a B. Something like Horizon Forbidden West aims to be a flagship. That will be rated on a scale as like an A tier game. Starfield, I haven't got far enough for this to be an actual like serious take, but speculatively might be an S tier game that's trying to revolutionize things and go beyond what games currently do. Or it might not. It might not hit that kind of ambition and scope. I've not played it enough to see. Where would you put on this scale that runs from, say, A down to F, where would you put a game like Hades? So I would put Hades quite low for ambition, but really freaking high for execution. But I want to know what you would do if you were working with this kind of scale. I also would like a better system than letters for that part of it. So D, but with like a high score on execution, assuming you like the game. I was thinking personally D or E, but somewhere around there. Execution is a score. Hades would get like an almost 100 for execution because it's like perfect. Foods we can come back to in a second, Bray. C for ambition and scope and stuff. Curious. Now a more difficult one. So that's Hades. Like, Hades is a relatively small game that executes freaking amazing. But where it gets difficult then... In fact, no, let's go moderately difficult. Where would you put Forza Motorsport? Scale and scope. Or is there a better approach to categorize things? Where would you put Forza Motorsport? No, right, I'll get your questions. I promise I will. We can do foods and all the rest of it, but I'm asking questions first because I'm curious about this. Forza Motorsport B. Fair enough. What about... It's not 2 letters, it's a letter and a number. What about Forza Horizon 5 and Forza Horizon prior entries? Can anyone explain to you why the underwear section is always outside the changing rooms? It's just a field of boyfriends outside carrying bags looking like pervs. I don't know, AJ, I've not been into a shop for like 15, 20 years. So I'll take your word for that, pervert. Z20 for Horizon. No, Horizon's ambitious. You can't be having that. I'm not saying it does everything perfectly, but it's Forza Horizon 5 a B, 3 an A. So that's along the lines that, like, when I'm looking at it, innovation would be part of it in terms of ambition and scope. Innovation, budget, that kind of stuff. Or innovation, budget, size. Let me bring my music back. That kind of thing is all going to play into it. So now for a difficult one, right? This is where I was thinking these through, trying to think, like, does my scaling and stuff actually work? Can I make this work across a broad range of games? And then I tripped up a little bit when I thought Street Fighter 6. And the reason that Street Fighter 6 is difficult for me is that if I look at Street Fighter 6 as a small game, as a fighting game with like online modes, it's really polished and really refined and brilliant. But if I consider the World Tour mode in there, then suddenly the scope of the game is a lot bigger and the execution is a lot lower because the World Tour mode is shit. Typically when you're reviewing a game like Street Fighter, what do you do with the World Tour mode? Like, does that make the game worse? Would Street Fighter 6 be a better game in not my review system specifically, but anybody's review system? Would it be a better game if the World Tour mode was cut out and it was just the good stuff left? That wouldn't be a very fair way to grade things. So I'm like a little stuck on Street Fighter and games like that just have a terrible mode that kind of wants to be discounted. And part of the answer to that is that I said at the start of it, like, each review is insular and the number's never going to be a perfect representation of what the game is. So realistically on Street Fighter 6, the way I think I would approach it is I would discount the World Tour mode. I would talk about it, and you listen and get the context, and you'll know why I'm discounting the World Tour mode, but I'd probably score it as a small game that executes well. It's a fighting game made for Westerners. All other Japanese fighting games have actual stories. Maybe so, Tony, but again, like, if you look at the way that I'm approaching it in terms of like what are they aiming for, you can say they're aiming to be a fighting game for Westerners. Then did they execute well on that? Yes, they did. Apart from the World Tour mode, should I drag the score down because they didn't execute well on the World Tour mode? To cut games up, maybe. You agree? Go over the system again. No, can we go over the system again? A being the best letter. Kind of. I might very occasionally, like super rarely, super occasionally, for a completely revolutionary game, go for an S to say like this is a class of its own kind of thing. But otherwise, typically there'll be A to F for scope, scale, ambition, like what it's aiming for. And the highest number is 100. It's like a percentage system essentially. And part of what that does is it forces people not to, like, it's the Death's Door Horizon situation. I don't want to put out reviews on a universal scale where people are going to look at a game like they're going to look at Hades and go, oh, I got like 96%, therefore it's better than Starfield that got 70% or something. And that's not a comparison that makes any sense whatsoever. So the letters provide some distinction just to make people at least think about what I'm actually saying with a score. But in realistic practical terms, each score is going to be like insular. So even if two games have a B grade, it doesn't mean they can necessarily have their scores compared side by side to say one is better than the other. I very much want to look at what they're trying to do and how well they execute. Which means the numbers do have some meaning. Rocket League is far less complex. What would you give Rocket League? Hades is better than Starfield. Well, I haven't played enough Starfield. And Hades is like perfect but small. And it's one of the things when you see a game like, so ignore Starfield because I don't know enough about it, but what do I know more about? What have I played this year? So Horizon Forbidden West I really liked. You might not. I get people have different opinions, but Horizon Forbidden West got torn apart for its flaws and got very little respect for the things that it does very well because it's compared on the same scale as smaller games. And I want to be able to take a game like Horizon Forbidden West, rip it to pieces for the things that are bad, but also give it suitable credit for the things that it does well, and have that score contextualized to some degree to say that it's not on the same scale as Death's Door. These are different entities. So you play both for more than 100 hours. Well, that's a lot. I'm brilliant at Hades. Hades is going to be my next review just because I want to. Perfect but small. Well, Tom. Forza has many bugs and glitches. I've seen a few clips of some cars flipping out and going all over the place. That's fair enough. Can you take points off for perverted Japanese school-based games? Tom, I'm not going to be able to review every game in the world. I'm probably going to steer clear of the perverted Japanese school-based games. And the stealth games. Those are the two genres I'm like, yeah, I'll probably let somebody else review those. It's funny that GT7, like, there were loads of clips going around of cars flipping in silly ways in Gran Turismo 7 and people calling it out as like the worst physics system and terrible game and all of this, that and the other. So it's funny that Forza clips have started appearing with exactly the same kind of glitches within days. So loads of flipping going on. That's funny. Hades is the nearest game to perfect. So Rocket League is the nearest game to perfect. Hades is very close. I'm a big Hades fan, and I haven't played it for 100 hours that you have. It took me 19 runs to do my 10 clears, and I didn't go into the contracts or whatever to make it harder from that point. But Kratos, you saw a very cool Transformers Bumblebee phone. They also have an Optimus Prime one, 1500. So you're a Transformers fan over an Apple fan. What's GT7? Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo 7. Okay, so nobody has like a revolutionary alternate suggestion to how I should score these games, like my rating system, whether it makes no sense or whether you've got like a better idea that would be more fitting. Whether I should just forge on with what I've got in mind and see how it plays out over time. 10 escapes, Barry. 10 escapes. I rolled credits after 19 runs. Because I'm awesome at Hades. I actually did 10 clears in a row as well. I did my first one, and then the subsequent 9 were all clears as well. 10 clears in a row. I used every different weapon. Wonderful game. I am not godlike, but I kind of cheated because I had played it a little bit on PC before. But yeah, I'll take it. Godlike works for me. Right, you played Forza in Belleville, Illinois. How long ago? Which Forza? And also, I see the first question is out. No, the first question is not up. We're going to scroll back to the question that I missed from Bryce. Something about food, wasn't it? What's my opinion about any foods? I am glad that food exists and we get to survive and endure. That's my main opinion. I like many foods. I don't like fish. I do like spicy food, curry, things like that. Do like some plain foods as well. I should play MM2. MM2 slap battles because it's more competitive. What's MM2? Tony, forge on, but don't be scared of changing things if it doesn't work. Shows both effort and integrity. Integrity, I'm gonna have so much freaking integrity, everyone's gonna choke on it. What about birds? Yeah, I'll eat those. Sure, why not? You don't know what MM2 slap battles are, but they're super competitive. Tony's gone. Try a small chunk of cheese with a drizzle of honey and a sprinkle of instant coffee. I believe you that that might be nice, but it doesn't sound nice. Right, let's do the questions. First question, please. Cheese goes with many surprising things, so you never know. I don't have instant coffee to hand though. I've got like a bean coffee machine thing. Would you rather be fast and overpowered or slow and weak? Did this question come through correctly? Was it supposed to be like fast and weak or overpowered and slow? Because at the moment it's a very easy question. Like, would you rather be fast and powerful, or would you rather be slow and weak? Seems a bit too easy. I'm going to take it at face value and say definitely I enjoy being fast and overpowered. It's a good way to live. I'm not going to try and change. Adriano Italiano, any idea why you can never watch me live without buffering every 3 seconds? No. On this channel or on the Game on Daily one? This channel I'm not streaming that heavy at the moment. No, I don't know why that is, but I apologise. Barry, you didn't watch because of spoilers. Did I finish Baldur's Gate 3? I'm nowhere near the end of Baldur's Gate 3. No, we're on the verge of exiting Act 1. And it's a very good game. Next question, please. Adriano, if you haven't already, do try putting the resolution down. I stream at quite a nasty bitrate for 1080p. YouTube's supposed to transcode it and give it to everybody at a nice bitrate, so I don't really know what the problem is, but... Right, next question is from Tony. I am buying MetaQuest 3, but I don't know how much I will use it. Not sure if it's even worth spending that much. Thank you for the statement, Tony. Tell me when you've got it. We'll play some games. It wasn't phrased as a question, so I'm not going to answer it as a question. Like I said earlier, I think that's a really good headset, and you've got a good PC to go with it. So, welcome to the world of tomorrow. Next question, please. Interestingly, on the Quest 3 and people that have a nice PC, Guy Godin, the guy that does virtual desktop software, which is software that you can use to play PC games on a wireless headset. So mostly the Quest and the Pico, but various others as well. Very much knows his stuff on wireless virtual reality and says quite confidently, quite assuredly that the Quest 3 is the best wireless PC headset you can get at the moment. So look forwards to that, Tony. How much was it, Bri? I think they're $500, but I think that might be the 128 gig model. I'm not sure. Tony, Apple Vision will dominate VR/AR space by the end of next year. Also not a question, but I'm going to answer that one. No. No, it will not. $3,500, Tony. Won't dominate anything. Especially not VR, because it doesn't even have controllers. Lame. Question, what's my most anticipated game of 2024? Behemoth on the virtual reality side of things. I think there's going to be some VR surprises next year. I certainly hope so. But on the Pancake side of things, I think possibly Avowed. I really like Obsidian. And I'm very much looking forward to Avowed. Anything else for 2024 that's really high on my list, though? There's probably loads. There's probably loads of games. The concept of time is difficult for me to grasp, so I'm quite pleased with myself for coming up with one. Avowed, I'm going to say. What about yours, Pazza? What are you looking forward to most? Barry, you're going to catch up on JoJo. You're still in the golden wind. Shake your head. Enjoy. Enjoy. We are wrapping up anyway, so thank you for the time there. It's white on your Android now too. What's white? JoJo's white on your Android. What? Oh, I see. There's a question about something in white. Tony said you like that on the iPhone, the little pop-up to ask questions is white. I'm not on a browser, so I don't know what color it is here, and I'm not on a phone, so I don't know about that either. Right. Thank you for that, Tony. Next question, please. You're just hoping Fable is out by the end of 24. I didn't list Fable because I don't expect it to be. I don't think Fable will be end of 24. Have they said that it is? Are they targeting 24 for Fable? I kind of assumed 25 for that. One high fantasy a year. Avowed for 24, Fable for 25. And now Elder Scrolls 6 isn't really going to be 26, but be nice if it was close, wouldn't it? Do I like tacos or burritos? Depending on your answer, it will show me what kind of man you are. Tony, my answer is yes. Yes, I do. Next question, please. Hazard, if Fable and Avowed were both next year, which one would I be looking forward to more? That's a tricky one. Fable might edge it, but those are both very high up on my list. Tony asked, Best Buy pulling out of physical media, will this mean that we can finally get cheaper digital games? Is Best Buy like, I know it's a big market or whatever, is it fairly dominant in the physical media kind of space? Is that where people go to buy stuff? Is it significant that they're pulling it? Or does everyone get stuff from Amazon or the high street? I don't know how stuff works in America, Tony, so I don't really know how significant it is. But yes, when physical media is scarce, they will finally decouple it from digital prices. No, we will not get cheaper digital games. What we'll get is the same price digital games, or more expensive, but their physical counterparts will be rarer and more expensive than ever before. I don't think Best Buy is going to shut down. They're not like a... Best Buy is a market, right? They sell groceries and shit like that, don't they? Or are they just... Are they actually a games and films kind of media store? Oh, they're electronic stores. I didn't know that. Well, then they best sell a lot of hardware. And Pokemon trading cards. Next question, please. Tony asked, will you take me on a magic carpet ride? Winky face, aubergine, eggplant, you know. I would have said yes, Tony, but your eggplant has made me second guess. So I'm going to say probably not. Check out Population 1 standalone. Space Denizen, I've seen people say that Population 1 standalone on Quest 3 is equivalent to the PC VR version. So on the one hand, people always complained about the PC VR version not being like enough of a step up from the Quest version anyway, but ignoring that, it sounds very good. What I don't know is what the Quest Pro version is like, because Quest Pro, I think spec-wise, probably it's got lesser hardware, but it has eye tracking and foveated rendering. So I reckon in theory you could probably get something that in terms of user perception would be about the same, but I don't know if anyone's bothered to put the work in on the Quest Pro version. So could be that the Quest 3 version is just a whole bunch better. But then there's the PC VR version as well. My problem with Population 1 though is that you required teams of 3 and I'm scared of people. Scared of people talking at me. So I've never tried it. Wanted to for a long time, but never have. I would need people to play it with. Pazza, if they made another Classics mini console, what would you want? Dreamcast or a Master System? I don't care for the Master System because it kind of predates me a little bit. Never really played much on it. And I don't find games of that era hold up that well. So I would want it to be a Dreamcast with online functionality so that we could play some Power Stone instead of that shitty Party Animals nonsense. Online Power Stone, yes please. 1 and 2. Jokes aside, thanks for taking my time posting, recording, streaming in my evening. Oh, thanks, Luap. Much appreciated. And yes, thank you, Isla, always, and everybody that is here, because I'm not the entertaining one. You all are. I am a mug, and you make it fun. Next question, please. I can't handle compliments. Quick, next one. Panicking, right. Episode 13. If somehow you came up with a new rating system out of nowhere, tell us why Starfield is an A99. Well, episode 13, it's interesting that you should ask that question. I couldn't tell you any such thing because I haven't played enough Starfield. But I will, especially, I'm not sure if I'll ever review Starfield because it's a big game and it'll take me too long to get through and to understand all of its intricacies. But if I ever get through it, then we'll have this conversation. Next question, please. You want a Neo Geo Mini? You prefer retrospective reviews to new game reviews? Yeah, I'm not saying, like, especially now, all of my reviews will be stuff that is already about. I think there's a window of time after a game lands where reviews are just going to sink, like nobody cares 2 weeks or 2 months after a game comes out. But if you go back enough years, then the retrospective ones count for a little bit more. Bri asked, if you were president, what would my new laws be? What? Where are you, Bri? You said you were in Illinois earlier, didn't you? So, President of America, I would definitely squash all resistance and get you a decent healthcare system. Because everybody outside of America looks at America and goes, you got a problem with guns and you got a problem with healthcare. So, as President of the United States of America, a lot of Americans would hate me, but you'd have healthcare. Bacon and egg and tomato sauce, sausage and hash brown with brown sauce, true or false? Bacon and egg with tomato sauce, sausage and hash brown. No, false. Brown sauce for both. Bacon and egg would be brown sauce as well. Sausage and hash brown would be brown sauce. Ketchup's like a meh condiment. It has its like uses, but meh. Next question, please. It's a good combination of problems if you want a lot of population control. Yes, I suppose so, but no. I'm chaotic evil in games that I play, but not so much in real life. Right, what year will hover cars and buildings with neon lights be invented? Buildings with neon lights have already been invented. It's just not a thing that works in a city. Like, I could put one up now, it would just scare the ducks outside my house. Neon lights, you're right though, like that aesthetic could be delivered 20 years ago. Why isn't it? Why doesn't everything look neon? The big holograms and stuff that you get in Cyberpunk, those are a bit more difficult. Even then, like, they had I think the Man City football team did a tour of Japan, and as part of the tour they had these like taxi bus things going around that projected big holograms of the players. So like the holographic stuff is there as well. They could do it if they wanted to. Yeah, I might stick some neon on the outside of my house, like be a trendsetter, get it going. Hover cars a bit more difficult. What with the health and safety stuff they'll need to get through to get that out on the road and with the people. Not the ducks. Yeah, the ducks. Scaring the ducks might be in everyone's best interest, actually. There's a lot of ducks outside my house, and they're quite annoying. They try and block in the cars and stop us getting around. I was getting home today with my kids in the car, and all the ducks scattered on the road. There was an Amazon driver trying to leave, and he was trapped by the ducks. And then I asked my youngest, he's not that young, to get out and scare the ducks. Very specifically talking about the ducks that were in front of my car causing me a problem. He gladly got out of the car, chased a completely different set of ducks, and did a wild, scary dance and shout at them. And like, this is not, it's not a dramatic story that carries any weight on the internet, but to me it was really funny at the time, just watching him doing his scary dance at a group of innocent ducks that weren't even in the way. Kids. Fun times. You live on a canal. You know, ducks and swans swim by. I don't live by a canal. There's just a whole load of ducks and they're a nuisance. They're a nuisance. Imagine being Canadian and having to deal with all the geese. The park having swans and geese is bad enough, but Canada is like Goose Central. Yeah, but there's nice things there too, right? Probably. Right, what is 0 divided by 0? Next question, please. I don't know what the answer to that one is. Like, it's one of those things. Kind of question where if you know the answer, it's going to be really easy. And if you don't, it's like, oh, I don't really know how you'd express that in a maths. You can't divide by 0, indeed. But there might be like some weird point in time where it has an expression, right? 0 divided by 0 is Bry. That makes enough sense, yes. So, go well with hoisin sauce. What does? Oh, ducks, right, okay. Ducks and swans. Fair enough. Who's my top 5 subscribers? How do you define a top 5 subscribers? Don't eat your friends. These ducks aren't your friends. But I don't intend to eat them either, so. Right, I'm not. There's no competition for a top 5 subscribers, so I'm going to gloss over that one. Shout out to the badges. Thank you, Replicant. Member for 2 months, got a brand new badge. Well, I can't see it from here. It looks like the same one. But it should be a new badge. Not swans. Well, AJH, that's not true anymore. You can eat the swans. Because exactly as you say there, the swans were protected by the queen. And what's she going to do now? She did. Swans are fair game. Who exactly are the badgers? The people with badges. Members on the channel that have these fancy A-goggle badges. Wow, they're all coming in at once. Shout out to your wallet being pickpocketed by me. Yep. Thank you, badgers. Much appreciated. Next question, please. How many places have I visited? I'm assuming you mean countries rather than like cities and things like that. Not enough. Sunny places around Europe, like a few of those. Been to Florida a couple of times, stateside, but nowhere else stateside. And that's about it, really. And nowhere. I've not been out of the country apart from like Wales and stuff. I've not been out of the UK for quite a number of years. Not since like before COVID sometimes. So been a while. The mantle's been picked up by the king. The king owns all the swans now. No, I've not seen anything formal to say that that's true. Swans are fair game until I get arrested. Next question. No, there aren't any more questions. Why do I becoming all wet and meowy? I read that as wet and snowy and was excited that it was snowing just for a moment. That's why I call you badgers. You thought I just like badgers. No, it's for the badges. I don't know what I was thinking at the moment in time that I had to name it. It was like, oh, what do you want to call the group? I was like, well, they get badges. So they're badgers. It's not, I'm not like a, you know, a streamer. I don't have that kind of thing. A little club name. But I do because it's badges. That's it. That's the story. That's why you call badges. Because you have badges. Right. We've run out of questions and that's okay. We've run for precisely the correct amount of time. I wanted to own one supercar. Which one would I choose? Between those two in particular, I don't know. I'm waiting until I've raced them on Forza so that I can make an informed decision. And when I say Forza, I mean Gran Turismo 7, so I can see inside them properly. So I'll come back to you on that one because I don't really know. Don't really know either of those cars well. Shallow Law. Badger Shallow Law, because like it's only 3 months ago or whatever that I set that up. And it wasn't really a secret, you just misinterpreted. So Gran Turismo 7 is not as good as Atari. What have Atari done for you lately, Tony? Okay. We're there. We're done. We made it to the end. I had a nice time. Thanks, everyone. Tomorrow, again, I know I've not been good this week on the streaming and stuff. I'm not sure anything can happen tomorrow. You can keep half an eye out if you want to, but it's quite possible that nothing happens. You lost your turd. Oh no, what a mess. Oh no. That's the worst. Right. Well, yeah, it works both ways, Baz. I could. What games on Sunday? For once you should be around. Forza Motorsport. And then there might be some Rocket League. There might be some Warhammer Dark Tide. We'll see how the evening goes. But Forza Motorsport is the one that I'm asking people to try and prepare, especially for this week. And then we'll see what else happens from there. Indirect, so less awkward compliment for me. It's... Yes. Rocket League, Tony, come on. What about Call of Duty? Blah, blah, blah. You made me throw up all over myself. Is the Call of Duty beta thing on this weekend? Is it coming to Xbox and PC as well this weekend? Party Animals requires that I don't HDR stream, so it's for special occasions where I'm not playing Forza. I'll probably do Forza in its shiny colours mode. So Party Animals might be a no this week, but it will be back in rotation. Like, I'll allow it again the following week. Among Us is viable if there's enough people to play it. Again, that one needs like ideally 7 or 8 people to get going. But if there are people there to play it, then that one is a candidate as well. Many things are, but Forza Motorsport is the one that I'm specifically planning to try and get people on. And then maybe I'll be able to uninstall that one afterwards. Party Badger. Yeah, not sure if there were any badgers in that game. There probably are somewhere. Anyway, for now, that's the end. Saturday, Go Live has error cuts for the win and Samurai Kibuji, so that should be a relatively calm, easy show. And then I'll probably stream a bit more again next week. Sunday we'll have some things. You'd rather choke yourself out than play that? Are you not a fan? I thought you loved Party Animals. Frequency modulation sport on Sunday. Yes, we'll do some of that. Does have Gaz on it. He might let other people talk this week. He might not. To be confirmed. Can one choke themselves out? You need to be quite determined. It's not easy, but let's not find out. Thank you, everyone. You find it hard not to recommend things? Yeah. I'd rather do both. Uh-oh. Don't know what that means. I'm panicking and I'm leaving it at that. I will catch you all in the near future.
Asa, game on daily. Asa.